This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. We may be a comic duo, but we take mental health very serious. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and is completely online. BetterHelp is a network with over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, answer a few questions, and BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network.
You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/amp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/amp.
Good morning. I am going to warn you now, I'm going to do some swear words because I am freaking pissed this morning. What the shit? Okay, I got that out of the way now. I'm sorry for the swear words. We try not to add swear words to this podcast because there's a few on the Clopen one. So let's just start off with something positive, though. Thank you. I hit 100 orders this morning, January 18th, 2024, on my first book. The second book is coming out. I'm getting some feedback from some really good friends that have read the book already, and I'm making sure I don't make what I would say the same mistakes in book number 2, but there really hasn't been mistakes. It's just been some great, amazing feedback, so I appreciate that. And I'm going to spend the rest of the day writing, and I'm hoping for Anxiety Makes Me Poop 2, TOO, to be out probably in the next maybe 6 weeks to 2 months. So really, really excited about that. So thank you for the support, and thanks for the orders. I was in tears this morning seeing that I hit that milestone. My goal was to sell one paperback book to someone that wasn't a family member or a friend, and I saw that number, 100 this morning. So holy cow. Listen, so it's Thursday. I had the day off because I had a doctor's appointment this morning because I felt like I was going crazy. And I apologize to any men that listen. This is kind of like a female chat, but I'm not going to get into the details, so don't worry. It's more about advocating for yourself. So let me just tell you my story, though. 3 years ago, I went to the doctor because I was having severe cramps and, female stuff. And the doctor actually told me it's because I'm aging. You're going to have these pains. This is what's going to happen. And it's because you're getting older. And I went, no shit. And that was it. I kind of just gave up. And she said, I'll see you in 3 years because you don't have to worry about anything. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know what to do. And at the time I just kind of trusted that it was maybe in my head and maybe it wasn't that painful. And maybe it was a muscle that I pulled or anything like that. Right. So I've been putting up with monthly pain. I have lost about 12 pounds. It's because 10 days out of the month, I just don't have an appetite. We thought maybe it was anxiety, so I started some medicine on that a few months ago. So it's actually, my stomach's gotten a little better, but I still had this, severe pain. And I was like, gosh, this cannot be in my head. I have a high pain tolerance. As many of you know, I run marathons and ultra marathons, races that are over 26 miles and, through every day during the week, I'll run just a 5 or a 10 mile, run or whatever. It's not a big deal. I feel like I have high pain tolerance. So when the past few months couldn't even handle the pain, like for example, the only way I can explain it is that I had to keep moving, like kind of just like rocking back and forth because I could not get out of my body. There was so much pain. I don't know if that's even explaining it well enough. I had to keep walking. I couldn't sit. I would just walk around my house and keep the motion moving because everything hurt. It was radiating pain. And I was like, this cannot be right. I have not heard from any of my friends who are a little bit older than me that they go through this kind of pain. I hear that there's irregularities and all that kind of stuff, and I have none of that. I only have pain. And now these past couple months, it's gotten to the point where it's almost every day. So I made an appointment with my female doctor, and as soon as she walked into the room and said, "What's going on?" And I told her everything. I said, first, I'm just here because it's been 3 years. And second, and I laid it all out. And she goes, "I believe you. It's not in your head." And I almost started crying because for 3 years, I have it in my head that this is just old age and this is what you have to do and women have to put up with it and all this kind of stuff. And that is not true. And so I wish, right? Like I called my mom immediately when I was done with the appointment, and she said, of course, hindsight's always 2020, because I mentioned that I should have gotten a second or even third opinion, and, or maybe I should have went 2 years ago and then I would have been done with all this. But, we women, we're tough, men are tough too. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, we've been taught to put up with the pain, and it's every month and it doesn't matter and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, okay, we just do it, I know men have similar things, but they're different, right? Same, but different. You're taught to, be tough and you're going to labor through and all this kind of stuff. And then you're like, is there really a problem? Is it just my back hurting, or is it really my heart? Or is it, we all, I feel like a lot of us have gone through it where maybe we went and saw a doctor and they said, maybe they kind of dismissed you a little bit, right? They said, the pain's not that bad, or it's not broken, or it's okay. And then it just keeps happening. So, 6 months later, or a year later, you're like, okay, I am going crazy. Let me go see someone else. And then they tell you exactly what's happening. So that's what happened to me. And I am relieved that I got an answer. There is truly a reason, and there are some things coming up now. I'm going to have surgery. There's an ultrasound next week. I have some blood work that's coming up. I have to get a couple tests that are coming up that she explained to me. She spent so much time with me, explained it all, even offered, if you'd like to get a second opinion from someone in my office, that would be, or wherever, if you'd like to, but here's what I'm seeing. Here's what it is. And this is what we're going to do. And she broke down all the different steps of what we're going to do. We're obviously going to try the minimum and then go from there. So, obviously you never want to just like jump into something, but she explained a couple steps that we could do to try. But once the exam was done, then she realized that there is something going on. So I just don't feel crazy anymore. I've been telling my besties, I keep telling them every month, I'm like, I can't even explain to you how I'm feeling. I've told a couple of my friends and my mom and, my family knows. And I mean, I've gotten, well, number one, like I said, I've lost the weight because like 10 days out of the month, I am in so much pain that I can't even eat because it gives me heartburn, right? Because the pain is radiating that I just feel like I want to vomit. It's horrible. And then the pain is just so crazy that sometimes I'm in bed for a couple days. That's not normal. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm in my 40s now, and I heard this from my doctor. That is not normal. It's not normal. Please go see someone, whoever you trust. I know we've talked about this before. I don't care. It's, medical, specialist, holistic, whatever it is, go see someone so that you don't feel crazy. That's the big thing, right? Is the mental health about it too. When you know something's going on, but you were told that it's just the way of life or whatever, and you kind of go a little crazy, like the past couple of months, I've just like had such high anxiety for a few things, but this was also one of it that was causing the anxiety. Like, what the heck is wrong with me? I would not be able to, go through this for 6 more years. This is crazy. So, all right, rant over. Thanks for listening to that. But let's talk about advocating for ourselves, because now I'm more pissed than anything, because I really should have gotten that second opinion. I really should have asked more questions. Maybe I didn't vocalize it enough, or maybe I was just dismissed. It's very possible. The person that I saw is no longer at that office. Maybe she said that to a few people and had to move on. I don't know. But listen, advocating for yourself is a crucial skill. It involves, expressing your needs, asserting your rights, ensuring your well-being. So I just want to kind of go through some tips to help you if you are going through something like me. So grab your coffee, grab your tea. I have coffee from the local coffee shop. I did a mocha almond mocha, I think, latte with almond milk. It's delish. So anyways, know your worth. Know your worth. I think a lot of us, because maybe we are not doctors and not educated in that, we only know how to express how we feel to someone that we trust. And then if we do get, where we're told, oh, nope, that's normal. Oh, it gets kind of, it just kind of deflates you a little bit. You're like, oh, shoot. So what is going on? Is it my head, or am I really feeling this, or is it not as bad? Or maybe I don't have a high pain tolerance as I thought, or, anything like that. I went through a lot of that these past 3 years. So know your worth, understand your values, your skills, and what you bring, right? Practice it. Like, I was in the car this morning. I had a very early appointment to see this doctor, and I actually was in my car in the parking lot practicing what I was going to say, because I wanted to make sure she understood how I was feeling, because I finally got to the point where I was like, this cannot be in my head, So, and another thing would be to take notes. Put them in your phone. We all have phones. We all have a spot for notes. If you don't, text yourself. Put your number in there and text yourself everything that you want to say, and make sure they put it in your chart. Everything's online now, so make sure you watch them type it. The nurse came in before the doctor, and she said, let's write everything down, and she did. Verbatim, typed it, all down, clicked all the buttons, and was like, all right, it's in there. You're going to see it on your chart. You're going to be able to see it. The doctor's going to be able to see it. She's going to add some notes to it. It was amazing. It was a very good experience this morning, way different than 3 years ago. So with those notes, clarify your needs. Clearly articulate your needs and your goals of what you want to do, right? Or you may not have goals, or you may not have next steps, right? Which is why we go and see a doctor who we trust, right? So be specific about what's happening. Don't undermine what you're thinking. Like, I wonder if 3 years ago I was like, yeah, there's a lot of pain, but I know that's a woman thing. And so, I can't remember what I said, but maybe I did. Maybe I kind of undermined it, how I was feeling. And so she took it as, oh, yep, it's just a normal female thing, which now we have learned that it's not. And it could have been taken care of 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. So I know this is tough for a lot of us, especially when you're not feeling good, but you have to keep your confidence, build it up. You have to have that self-confidence to be able to share what is going on and not back down. I am a very nice person when it comes to speaking to people like physicians, like doctors. I am very, very nice. And I think I undermine myself a little bit, and my self-confidence is a little bit lower, because I find them to be just so intelligent and they know what they're talking about. So I think what I do is I think, oh gosh, they probably hear so many complaints from so many patients. I am not going to be that person. I'm just going to stick with the facts, and I'm not going to get emotional. Sometimes you have to. Like this morning, I didn't cry in the office. I felt like I was going to, because I was just so upset about everything that was going on. But I truly just told her everything. But the great thing is she listened. Like, she had her hand on the side of my knee the entire time when we were talking. Like, she was like, just very... her bedside manner was phenomenal, right? So if you don't have a doctor like that, they don't listen, they're looking at their computer screen, they're just not really looking at you in the eye, go see someone else. Because now I'm seeing the difference, right? Like Mom said, hindsight. So I'm seeing this difference now. So, and then the other thing is like practice assertiveness. This would come with confidence, right? Like, I want to show you, without being aggressive, but you want to be assertive. Here are my notes. Here is what's happening. Have your dates, have the times, use your I statements, right? When you're giving a compliment, you don't want to use I, but when you are talking about what's going on with you, I feel this way. This is what's happening. And a lot of people will say, well, don't be dramatic. Right. No, assertive. Like, here is what's happening on this date. This is what happened. Here's the symptoms. Here's this. And another thing would be to maybe educate yourself. Now, I know we talked about self-diagnosing last week, I think it was. And we, obviously we do want to do that, but then we also want to seek professionals, or doctors. So definitely educate yourself. I looked up a few things, but I just couldn't pinpoint what could be causing it, because in my mind, I kept thinking of what the doctor said 3 years ago. So I couldn't fully educate myself. But now that I know what's happening, now that I know the next steps and what my next maybe 6 weeks is going to be, now I can educate myself and look it up and see everything that she said. Okay, is that right? And just understand it so that I can also tell my family who, if I do have to have surgery, they're going to have to help me a little bit for a week or two, right? So educate yourself once you know why the symptoms are there, right? And what's causing it. And then seek feedback. Like maybe even before you go to the doctor, or it's that after the doctor, the second opinion. So seek some feedback. Maybe reach out to someone that has had this happen, see what they say. Especially if it's someone like I do have a friend that had this I want to say it's very similar. I remember her talking about it, and she had the procedure that I probably will be getting done about 15 years ago. I'm going to reach out to her and say, hey, how are things going now? And then weigh my options from there and talk to the doctor that I trust and say, this is what I've heard. Can you please explain more to me? And I am confident she will say yes. In some women it's this, and some, so, and even for men too. Now we're not just talking about females here. For men too, if it's like a muscle or something broken or something pulled or it's your back, or please, seek some feedback. And then go back to the doctor and ask some questions. And if you're not 100% confident that this doctor is hearing you, get that second opinion. So the next thing is effective communication, which just kind of rolls into everything we've already talked about. Just make sure that you have strong communication. You may not be feeling good, so you may have an attitude, or you're angry, or you're crabby. And sometimes you have to set that aside just to get the facts out, or you have a low self-esteem because you feel like, maybe you're even intimidated by the white coat. We've heard that before, right? Some blood pressures go up. It's, because of the white coat. So you just make sure that you use that communication. And then the next one is to be persistent, which I was not. So 3 years ago, I should have. But I got discouraged by what the doctor told me, and I went, okay, well, let's just see it. And here we are 3 years later. I don't know if I can even explain that. I know many of you out there I'm sure have very similar, if not worse than me, of what happened, where maybe you heard it and you were like, fine, I'll put up with it. But please be persistent. If it's not working out, if you still don't feel great, if it's getting worse, please go see someone, speak to someone, get some feedback. Understand your body, right? Know your body. And that's with anything. So the next one is to document. So just like I said, put the notes in your phone, or if you like, pen and paper, pencil and paper, write it down, bring it with you. And then also if you need someone to go with you because you're not feeling well, because you're cranky, because you have an attitude, which it does happen, and that's okay. That is, anything that you're feeling right now is okay. So bring someone with so they can also be an ear, and maybe take notes for you while you're looking at the doctor and that doctor's looking at you and telling you everything and next steps and here's what we're going to do. Have that friend or family member or someone that you trust make notes, or maybe put the dates in their phone and then they can share it with you once you've calmed down from the appointment, or whatever you need. The next thing is, which I probably don't sound it right now, is to stay calm. I actually am very calm. This is me just being hyper, but stay calm. I was very calm during the appointment because I wanted answers. I did not want to feel like I was crazy. So stay calm under the pressure, maintain your composure if you can. Again, if not, bring someone with you that can help explain it. Last week, I think I talked about going to my endocrinologist for my thyroid. My mom came with. Because she's a nurse and she's a great listener. And I just didn't know. I knew I was sick. I didn't realize how sick I was. And she was there to listen. And when the doctor was explaining things, she said something to me and to my mom. And my mom went, yep. And understood it because my mom's a nurse, and went, yep, that's what she's going to do. And helped me make that decision, which was so helpful. And then, of course, finally, always self-love. Please take care of yourself. Even if you're not feeling good, do something good for yourself. Drink all that water, eat that healthy food. I know my doctor said, what do you eat? Could it be your stomach that's caught? This is before the examination. She's like, could it be your stomach? And I said, well, actually, it's been better. This is what I eat. I eat salads. And she goes, oh, great. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. So self-love, Maintain a healthy lifestyle if you can, just make yourself feel good mentally. If you need to see someone, go see someone to help you get through what you're getting through, right? You may need to speak to someone and just say, okay, I'm not crazy. Here's what's going on. Here, this doctor says, here's the next steps. Please help me emotionally get through this. Please do that if you have to. So, I know a lot of people say, you have to advocate for yourself, but it truly is something that we have to do. I think people are getting stronger that way because they want to be heard. They want to feel good. And ultimately, you just want to be happy, right? You just want to be, mentally stable, mentally happy, body happy, everything. You just want to feel good. So please advocate for yourself. If you don't have, if you just had a bad experience, doesn't mean that you're going to have a bad experience from everyone. If you had 2 bad experiences, go to that third one. Just please, please, please take care of yourself. So, well, thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next time. Go advocate for yourself. Goodbye.